This movie is already pissing me off because it's called The Exorcism, and everyone's already asked me, oh, you're watching The Exorcist? No. It's two different titles, but it's very similar. So listen, everyone, this is the 2024 Exorcism movie that you've all heard of, right? The Exorcism stars Russell Crowe and Simpkins, and is about a troubled actor begins to exhibit a disruptive behavior while shooting a horror film. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. I did not know this movie was coming out this Friday because literally I've never seen a trailer for this movie. I saw on Twitter Russell Crowe Exorcism movie, and I kind of figured, oh, it's the Pope's Exorcist Part 2. They're going to talk about production kind of such. No, this is a complete exorcism movie with Russell Crowe in it. Now, I did a little bit of research, and it was filmed in 2019, and due to the pandemic, it got pushed, and then I'm pretty sure with the strikes, it got pushed even more, so now it's finally being released, and there's no trailers or marketing, and no one's talking about it, so probably it's going to be a really bad movie. But I can say, walking out tonight, it's not the worst horror movie I've seen this year. So beginning with the positives, Russell Crowe, very good actor, and in this movie proves that just instantly. This movie is an instant paycheck for him, hey, horror movie, let's do it, yada, yada, yada. And he's good in it. He's good for what he is, and his character has tons of motivations of being possessed and being in this movie. And it all works really well in the first 20 minutes. His daughter comes, they're working on this movie together, and he has an entire background that could be really interesting if the movie actually delved deep into it. And I think the daughter of this movie, Simpkins, who was in Fear Street, she's also good in the movie. I think she has a really good relationship with her dad, and it's also an interesting relationship because of his background, and she's coming home due to a suspension of school. So there's stuff in this movie to make these characters interesting. Unfortunately, I truly think the producers of this movie were hey, Exorcist movie, it's 90 minutes, put it in theaters, there you go. And that's what this movie is. It's a nothing movie. And in my opinion, it's honestly worse than a bad horror movie. Because when there's a bad horror movie, you're oh my gosh, this is horrible, and it stuck in your head. This one, literally, I forgot the name of it when I got home. I was what was the name of this movie? I truly sat here and thought, when I walk out of this movie, am I going to remember anything? Hell no, and there was no one in this theater tonight, so I literally sat there, and there were times I pulled my phone, and I was what's on Twitter? What's everyone talking about right now? And I truly just saw this movie as a nothing movie. It's shot well, the cinematography's not bad, CGI is a little questionable in parts, there's one creepy image with Russell Crowe breaking his back in one scene. I'll say that's probably my favorite scene, but everything else it's so formulaic. There was nothing in this movie that just stood out. I mean, you had Sam Worthington in this movie. I had no idea he was in this movie, and the movie doesn't even know that either because he's in this movie for no reason. It's oh, Sam Worthington, it's the guy from Avatar. He's in the movie, and he does nothing for this movie. But again, it's not a bad movie. It's not a movie it's oh my god, one of the worst movies of the year. It's just a movie that you watch, you process through your brain, and then you leave the theater all right, what's for dinner? That's this movie. It's not really scary. It's got a pacing that just definitely doesn't feel 90 minutes. It feels 2 hours. And by the end of it, I was listen, there was ingredients here for Russell Crowe's character and his dynamic with his daughter that could have been interesting, but you just go for instant scares and a third act that is completely just, oh, monsters, preach, I summon the devil, blah, blah, blah. It's just, you've seen it before, and in the end, I'm not going to remember this movie. I'm going to give The Exorcism a C-. Now, the real question is, why is this movie called The Exorcism? Because they totally saw the box office revenue for The Pope's Exorcist and was hey, Russell Crowe, Exorcism in the title, let's change it. And that wasn't even the original name title. It was something completely different. They're Exorcism. It's just a studio trying to make a quick buck. That is this movie's definition. Anyway, guys enjoy this movie review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody!